Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Hidden in the Universal Vault. I'm Ryan, your host, and I'm welcoming you to my review of Merry Madagascar from 2009. We're heading back to DreamWorks Animation with the TV special based on the Madagascar franchise. This isn't really a movie, it's a television special. This aired on NBC in 2009. So yes, we're returning back to NBC for this special. The last time I covered NBC was the Alvin and Chipmunks television series from the 1980s. That's the last time I covered some NBC. But I figured it's DreamWorks, it's NBC, and this is July, and we are now in the Only Christmas in July episode. So yeah. So let's talk about Merry Madagascar. This is actually pretty short, so let's talk about this. So there's not much blurb, but here's the plot in the back. When Santa's reindeers crash onto the island of Madagascar, it's up to Alex, Marty, Gloria, Melman, and those wacky penguins, which by the way, they're the best part of this franchise, to save Christmas. Get ready for a sled full of laughs in this hilarious new holiday classic. What I mean by hilarious, in quotations, it's actually not really that funny. The biggest problem with this movie is there are a couple problems. One, it's rushed. Two, this only clocks at about 22 minutes. For a television special, that's a crime. I've seen classic television specials from I've seen television movies from like the Rankin Bass and the Charlie Brown specials that were pretty long. Number three. This is the third reason why. And that's because I could care less about where the characters are. This movie flies super fast. It feels fast. It feels like it's the point, and I was already enjoying it. I was enjoying it for what it was, and then all of a sudden the movie ends. What happened? Honestly, the movie isn't terrible. Santa in this is played by Carl Reiner, who voices Santa. So it deals with, like I said, deals with them crash, then all the Madagascar animals have to try to make it to save Christmas. They drop all the presents. Then Julian has his own holiday, Julian Rary, which sort of like January, but put his name in it. That's another problem. Julian in the first Madagascar was actually funny, and they were fun. Here, I felt like he was more obnoxious. Cedric the Entertainer plays his assistant, and again, he was funnier than that. I don't know. The penguins kind of just... I don't know if they felt the characters were just bored, or... I don't have much to say about this because it's a television special. It's good looking, DreamWorks Animation, but I feel like this time it's been dimmed down a little bit. Not to say the animation is terrible in this, but compared to the first Madagascar, I also have Escape to Africa, which is a sequel, which I will cover that one soon. I do own that. And I have the other television special, Madly Madagascar, which is the Valentine's Day special. I don't know. The reason I also was this would be the second special because the other Christmas special was packaged with Madagascar. And that was actually pretty funny. The biggest problem again is I just feel like it's super rushed. It's very short, and I feel like it just lost. Gone is what made the first Madagascar good. Gone is what made that one a ton of fun. You had likable characters. By the way, the cast in this is from before. You know, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, Jada Pinkett Smith, and yeah, did I mention Chris Rock? Yeah. So they're all back in this. And again, I feel like it's just... It goes by really fast. And again, for a television special, that's a crime. But it's not going to hinder what I'm going to rate this movie. I think it's fine, I guess. If you like the Madagascar series and you like these characters like I do, then this one isn't too bad to watch. But I felt like, again, this could have been better. But I feel like it's weak. I will tell you this, I probably won't watch this on Christmas. I probably will not watch this myself. I might watch this myself again and might appreciate it more. But in the very end, it's just a very mediocre holiday special with characters that don't seem to really go nowhere. I'm sorry, guys. You got all these characters that are likable. In fact, the Penguins were great. Julian's awesome. Oh, the other character that worked was Andy Richter. Also played the little lemur. The lemurs were actually pretty creative. It's just, although there's one funny moment, I do like when Santa decides to take off his suit and coat and dance around in his long underwear. It almost looked like he's a stripper. Then all of a sudden he does the conga line with the lemurs. It kind of reminds me of that episode in Pete and Pete, the Christmas episode where it showed the whole town and Santa's leading the conga line. That's funny. And Santa's like, I'm just sitting here. I'm just standing there shaking my booty. Oh, okay, Santa, kind of go, big guy. I do think that Gloria is a pretty funny character. Like I said, I like this franchise. It's just weak compared to the first movie. I have seen the second one before, and look forward to the third one if I can find a copy of that. But in terms of this special, it's okay. If you have a 5-year-old around the house, you just want to throw something on to kind of use as like, this is an example of used as a babysitting tool. You can just pop it in and your kid can watch it. So I'm recommending it if you're a parent, let's say you're like, if a kid's like maybe 5, I say yeah, sure. But as a 36-year-old person a 36-year-old adult who's covering Universal, now covering DreamWorks, and their animation library, if you are doing it for the series, then yeah, you're going to want to check this out. But if you're just your average Joe that doesn't have a YouTube page like I do, you might want to give this a pass. But it's not terrible. Let's just go ahead and rate right now. Like I said, this is super short, so it's going to be... I went back and forth to find out which I'm going to rate it. I was a toss-up between doing a 2 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give Merry Madagascar, this might shock you, a 3 out of 5. I'm sure that's not shocking to everybody, but I can't give this a 2 out of 5 because I was definitely entertained and I definitely thought the characters were good. I actually think this is, like I said, for me, this is not something I would go back and probably watch again, but it's neat to add if you're trying to complete the Madagascar franchise. But at the very end, I just figured a 3 out of 5 is just the fitting rating. I know I shouldn't rate it lower, but I can't do that other than a 3 out of 5. Sorry guys, that's just how the way it goes. It does have a decent ending, but it wasn't an ending where I was like clapping and saying, sure, awesome ending. It just was come out to just being a mediocre ending to a mediocre television special. But I'm not going to dwell that over. If you guys like this, some of you probably grew up with this. Some of you like me and you like the first Madagascar and you've seen maybe all 3 of them and you want to see how these television specials. But for me, it's just not my cup of tea. So that's my review of Merry Madagascar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like the content of the channel, like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell to get all my video notifications so you don't miss a single video on the channel. I'm also on Letterboxd, guys, so you can check out what I did cover and lots of really cool stuff. Stop by my channel. I have tons of Universal videos. I have Vlog City videos. Just lots of stuff on there. Like I said, I now have a DreamWorks playlist on my channel. So you can check out all the DreamWorks movies I have covered on the channel. And now it'll have its own playlist. So I'll try my best to leave a link on the bottom to that playlist so you guys can go ahead and check out if you just want to see those DreamWorks reviews. It's all on there. So yeah, like I said again, it's just not for me. So that's my, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. So anyways, and that's it. And as always, keep watching those Universal movies. And I'll catch you guys next time with another movie. Bye.